For design firms in the United States that are firm members of the American Institute of Architects and have signed on to the AIA 2030 commitment, those firms have the opportunity to publish results from Insight directly to the AIA 2030 DDX platform. This platform is required by firms that have signed on to report the predicted EUI for projects that they're designing, and then that information can be viewed, as we'll see in a minute. So there's a place in Insight to enter your credentials, your information, and then for a particular run that's been developed appropriately to finally be to the point where you're going to report it, you can initiate that process within Insight, within Chrome, and then there's some options here that you can change, but most of the settings are coming from what you've already specified within Revit and Insight. Once that's been pushed out to the AIA 2030 DDX, you can go to that platform, log in with your credentials. Now this has nothing to do with Autodesk products. You can see your most recent run that you've just pushed, and then you have the opportunity to adjust some of those settings again or fill in other settings that there wasn't a corresponding factor in Insight or for whatever reason didn't get pulled through. And then you have the ability to save that updated information as the more formal final submission for that particular project. Another really interesting thing about this platform is the research part of it. So if you're working on a school project or a healthcare project in a certain climate zone, you can begin to compare the results that you're seeing against other projects in that specific area of that size and building type. What happens though is if you narrow the results down too far for purposes of anonymity, from what I understand, the results don't show. There's not enough variation, so perhaps you would be able to deduce what firm uploaded that information. I believe that's the reason. So anyways, here you can see the climate zone you can specify. There's building type and also states in the US, for example. And then when you hover over one of those dots, it shows you information about the predicted EUI and the area, the square footage of the building. So very useful information when trying to understand if your results are as good as they should be. In Minnesota, where I live, there's also this Building Benchmarks and Beyond it's a program called B3. It's a state program similar to LEED, and it also has a research component where you can compare existing buildings, which is really helpful also in understanding if you've come up with a decent EUI.